really love our new playlist. It's totally refreshing. Anyways, are we ready to go? Can we get some purple demon faces, please? Squeak. Squeak. I don't know. I don't see enough purple demon faces in the chat. Gonna need a little more before we get at it. And disco balls too. Disco balls and demon faces.
Like I was smoking.
There we go. Thank you, Cassidy. Cassidy's got the right idea. Spam. Spam. A little spam. Just a little. Little spam. We do a little spamming here. A little spamming. Just a little spamming. That's what we do. Alright, how about it? Should we get it going? Get it going? Get her going? Should we get her going? Let's do it. Alright, are we ready? Let's make some noise in the chat room. Okay. And 3 and 2 and 1 and big face. And hello everybody. My name is Jan Erickson. This is my YouTube channel called Mindful Monad, in which I am Hyperion and I talk about whatever the hell I want. So Friday nights is Friday Night Chat. It's a chance for me to hang out with you in a more chillax way, and we just kind of look at a little bit of whatever we want, and mostly it's therapeutic blasphemy by means of just reacting to religious material at the moment. It does change here and there, but that's our theme for now. So tonight I found another hidden Mormon video about pornography. Pornography in the sense of it being super evil and dangerous and things like that. But it brings up and it begs the question, is pornography inherently bad, draining, holding you back, or is it good for you, or, is it in only certain cases? So let's explore this today. But before we get going on, I would like to say hello to everybody and who I see in the chat. First up, I see Philip! Philip! It makes me so happy you're here. Thank you so much for coming. And I believe I saw Cassie here earlier, so we got Philip and Cassie as our moderators in the house. And then who else do I see? Cassidy. Good to see you, Cassidy. And Lisa Zawacki, good to see you. Laura LaFleur, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. And I saw Stoic Jeff, hello, good to see you. I see Tyler Easy, good to see you. I'm really excited to get into tonight's video because it's going to be ridiculous for one, and it's going to be a point where we can talk about some certain things like sexuality within humanity, which is something that's interesting to me only because when I grew up Mormon, it was very forbidden. But at the same time, when they forbade this sort of interaction, they developed a lot of shadow. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just bear with me. We're going to get into that. It's good to see everybody. So tonight I have grapefruit flavored sparkling water and fruit punch juice stuff. You know, where you like mix it with the water like the Mio. The tarot card on my shelf. I actually haven't switched it up for a while, so let's see. Closing my eyes. Okay, putting it back on the shelf. And it is Fortune. The wheel. No. Yeah. 10 of trumps. I'm pretty sure trumps. Anyways. Are we watching porn tonight? Well, let's see. Let's see what we can get away with on YouTube. YouTube After Dark. On a Friday night, we're gonna watch some hot, sexy action. Just you wait. Hey, if you have not liked the video or shared the live stream, please do so. That means a lot to me. That's the best way to support. Alternative ways to support is to become a member. You can get access to custom emojis, and you can send super chats and things like that as well. Mormon or Bible man porn? I see Mormon porn is going to be boring, but Bible man porn, that I would like to see. But yes, the film tonight that we are going to be watching is produced by the LDS Mormon Church, and it's about pornography and their whole take and influence on pornography. So we're going to watch that, react to that, and then I'm going to periodically insert what I feel is a more healthy way to look at pornography. Most religion looks at pornography as something that's like an ultimate, like, do not, avoid, like, don't get involved with it. And that's sad because there's some people who can, like, participate into that and consume that healthily. And then there's some people who might genuinely have a problem with over-obsession and addiction to sex. So let's dive into it, shall we? Well, hello, Morg. Thank you so much for coming. Alright, let's see. turn off our music. So this one's like 22 minutes long. This will probably take like 30-40 minutes to actually like react to. This is going to be interesting. So this is filmed in 2005, and I don't know if any of you remember 2005, but it's kind of like the dawn of social media. Maybe not like so immediately, but I feel like that's 2005, 2006 is when I started getting into social media, and we were just on the brink of MySpace, and there was like a live journal. Facebook was not a thing yet. Instagram definitely didn't exist. There was no Tumblr, and definitely no TikTok. And thank you so much for the super chat, Morg. I really appreciate that. Anyways, so this is a LDS film, a co-production between the now defunct Communities for Decency and the Deseret Book Company. The Deseret Book Company is like a Mormon content company, but more so back when it's like books and things like that. Not so much like social media, YouTube, things like that. Very much older. So anyways, this presentation was intended to teach and warn families and leaders about the dangers of internet pornography. While pornography remains a significant social concern for all members of the church, of course it remains a social concern for all members of the church. We'll get into that. Anyways, this presentation is interesting as it is remnant of a period of vastly increased effort made by the church both over the pulpit and through the creation and or funding of local non-profit community decency organizations to try to combat its influences by promoting legislation that levels all of society to empower members and other similarly minded community members in preventing pornography from having any presence in their communities. This period roughly lasted from early 2000s into the early 2010s and resulted in a number of public action throughout Utah, including the establishment of White Ribbon Week at Utah schools and even a public declaration by the state government that pornography was a public health risk. I mean, within this description right here, we have morality and religion already interfering with the lives of other people. Now, granted, I'm going to repeat this several times. I feel some people have an addiction, they should steer away. They should listen to their therapist and whatever and their doctors. But, like, this makes it sound like a pandemic, and it's so funny because this is from 2005, again, when, like, internet presence for people in general was just starting to arise. Like, we just started having the need to have a certain presence on social media, but on the social media that we do not recognize today. Oh, hello, Renaissance Fairy. Good to see you. Did I say hi to you before, or did I miss you? I don't know. Hello. Anyways. So this is going to be a really funny film. The stylistic choice of filming in 2005. 1980s, 1990s had a really good style of film. It was very, I don't know, it still had some zest. It had some personality to it. But there's something about 2000s to 2010s. I don't know what happened. Fashion, style of filming, the way they video edited everything. It was the worst. I don't know why. I will always forever remain on that hill of 2000s through 2010s was a horrible age for style, whether it's the clothes on you or like the way you filmed and edited. let's get this going. Let's do it. The following scenes have been created to recreate or modified in order to maintain the confidentiality of those involved. Oh no, we're gonna have some personal confessions. What is going on? Like, is this how we introduce people, like, viewing porno? Like, we can't just, like, start with a scene of, like, some kid cracking onto the family computer before they blew it up with Napster?
If you thought you were in danger, would you do something about it?
I don't know. What's the danger? I have many questions. This is so sinister. Come on.
If you knew you were being stalked with the intent of...
Are they just seeing two girls, one cup for the first time? I mean, we've all been there. That or one man, one jar. Come on.
Robbing you of all
good
you
old
hold
days
dear,
of porno you didn't want to see.
Even your very soul. Would you stand by and allow it to happen?
I don't know. Would I? What's the danger? Do I get a thrill off danger?
If you felt that you and the people you cherish above all in the world were in peril, would you ignore that feeling and do nothing until it was too late?
Yes. I would pop some popcorn, eat it on my couch, and forget about all that. Who's this man outside their house? Some weird voyeur? What is happening? What are they likening
Until
porno
recently,
onto?
The dark and pernicious evil of pornography was something you had to go looking for. At the magazine stand, at the theater, in dark alleys and hiding places.
It's true. My favorite go-to spot for pornography is dark alleyways. The creme de la creme of porn is seen in the dark alleyways, okay?
But now, there's no way to escape it. It can come where you work.
It can come where you work! Why did they word it that way? Why? What do you mean it can come to work? It can be at work, it can get you at work, but no, they had to say come.
Right into your home. Even in the solitude of your own room.
Oh no. Come everywhere. Come all over.
It is only a mouse click or a phone call away.
Wait, a phone call? Who calls for porno anymore? Who calls on the phone for porno? Come on.
It's waiting in your email.
In my
the chat
email.
room. The innocent click of your TV remote.
Teens, fucking farm animals. See it in your fucking email. The most awful porno, like wiener extension.
Even your next internet search.
This live stream is definitely getting demonetized with all the porno talk we're gonna have tonight.
The insidious evil of pornography no longer lurks in the shadows, waiting for the curious or unsuspecting victim.
Unsuspecting victim. It lurks within the
Over
darkness.
the years, the impact was a lot.
Pornography is lurking around your house. It's peeking into your windows. It's gonna get you. When you least suspect it, you're going to become erect.
Loss of the spirit. Feeling like I was high.
Pornography, the great lie. I've got another lie about pornography that I'm going to talk about after we view this.
Hiding something all the time, not being able to completely be myself.
Anger. I would grow angry very easily. A lot of isolation. I don't really have any friends because I kept my distance from people.
Pornography is big business.
Is it?
It is
I
a
don't know.
trap conspired by those who seek riches at the expense of the gullible. Millions of dollars of research and marketing are spent finding
What's with the... What? I love this funky ass music. Never mind what's being said. It's like...
quicker and more seductive ways to tempt, entice, and ensnare you. Every message is manipulated. Every medium is exploited. Music, images, movies, literature, and cyberspace. You have been carefully profiled, measured, and marketed with the sole intent of seducing you into a world of self-gratifying lust and deceit.
Oh my
It will
goodness.
fill their pockets while destroying all that is pure and meaningful in your life.
My goodness.
A lot of young men feel like they're stronger than a lot of these addicts. That the first looks, they won't hook them or bother them. They will be able to get away with a few times of looking at pornography, and it won't matter.
I was walking to school, and on the path that I've walked on several times,
Oh no.
it was laying right
This is an actor. It's totally 100% an actor. This is not a real person.
in the middle of the pathway, and I was just in total awe and shock. It was very graphic. And,
What was?
That was over 31 years ago.
What?
And it's an image that
I have many
never been able to get
questions.
out of my mind.
What image? What was the image? Ass
Pornography
tits?
is founded
I want to
on the
know.
delusion that what is portrayed is real.
Has the orgy pit been scraped and buttered?
But it is a base and degrading imposture of love and true human intimacy. Great effort is taken to make it attractive. But pornography, in all its forms, is fabricated, manufactured.
Not all pornography. At this point in time, let's see, what was this, 2005? Okay, we're like almost 20 years later. Like, there's plenty of pornography out there that's very real experiences of people on film. So, I mean, there's a lot of pornography that does exploit people. But because we don't allow it to be better regulated and more protected, people get shafted and exploited and ruined because of pornography. But I feel personally, in my opinion, like it needs to be more widely accepted as a business practice so that it can be better regulated and porno actors and things like that can be better protected.
Pornography is constructed the same way as this commercial production.
How are you? This is Kate.
The filming or recording process is laborious and begins long
Laborious.
before the crew and cast ever arrive on set.
Wait a minute. Who do I need to talk to about my rate here? Because there's been a mistake and it's a problem.
Wardrobe designers make or select clothing to maximize appeal.
we're gonna love it.
Okay. We just basically build a wall
Soft lighting is carefully created to flatter the model.
back in here, not just a half-light shadow.
Well,
Yeah, see, and that's the glamour.
That's exactly right.
Makeup is applied to conceal blemishes and enhance the subject's features.
Everything now, we just have to really go to the hair.
Oh, and did you talk to my agent yet?
I did.
We need to get that.
This is
worked
so
out.
fake. Like, this is all set up right
All
now.
the individual elements
This
on
is
set are planned.
You know this is not a real porno set. This is like a religious idea of a porno set. This is not an actual, like, they're not filming this documentary, like a real life documentary, as a religious establishment to show you, like, how corrupt it is. Like, they're not doing any investigation. Like, this is purely false. Like, this is purely an act.
Crafted and placed in an effort to suspend reality within the manufactured confines of the camera. To believe otherwise is foolish.
Camera, ready, and action.
Woo! Whoa,
Pornography may
baby.
appear beautiful and alluring, almost irresistible, but pornography is fiction. The powerful urges and feelings it arouses are real, but stimulating those urges and drives with pornography creates the illusion that love and intimacy are only about sex, and sex alone.
Well done.
Who do I need to get?
Now, I do feel like some people get the misconception that the pornography that they watch is a valid representation of love and intimacy within a, like, healthy relationship, which it's not. I mean, but again, there's some wiggle room there because you could easily have a pornography film filmed between two people who very much are in a loving relationship. It's not so black and white, you know. It's not either porno good or porno bad. It depends on who is viewing the porno, what kind of porno they're viewing, for what intentions, and what it means to them in the long run.
Give the invoice to.
Talk to the producer. They're writing checks over there.
Ultimately, pornography can destroy those things that matter most to you.
Thank you.
It is an insidious counterfeit of pure, self-sacrificing love.
I hated who I was, deep self-loathing. I hated that I was a hypocrite. Lived one way on the outside in a different way.
Okay, so lie number one. It's harmless. This right here in the bottom, it says, like, lie, it's harmless. So, I mean, for some people it can be harmless. There's plenty of people in the world who could view porno like, I don't know, just having it as an occasional cup of tea or something like that and be fine. And there's other people who are very obsessed with it. But the obsession with it, that's where I want to be like, why? Where did the obsession come from? Because in my experience within the Mormon Church, which this is produced by, sexuality, sex, is something that they make you focus on. They make you focus on the aspect of sex where it's bad and it can only be done in very certain circumstances can sex be performed. That's the only way it's appropriate. But they don't realize that by doing that, they're taking sex and making them obsess over it. They're making their members obsess over the concept of sex, even if it's in the sake of, like, oh, it's pure and you should only do it under the certain circumstances. Like, even with that, there's a lot of pressure. They can't really express themselves about sexuality any other way than what the church provided them. So then they default to this secretive sinning and, like, viewing of pornography and feeling very guilty and going in that shame cycle.
In private, lots of thoughts of suicide. It would just be better if I ended my life.
I finally had it. And I told him I wasn't gonna take it anymore.
I'm sorry. When they say at the very beginning of this film that a lot of this is acting, and like obviously that porno scene set up, like that filming, that was fake. I don't believe these people right now that are testifying. I don't believe that. I believe that these people are acting and portraying what the church wants its members to see. They want its members to see somebody who looked into pornography and they're just so overcome and overwhelmed and just like completely ruined over it. So I call bullshit right here. This gal that's crying right now, I don't think she's real. I don't think she's real at all.
And it wasn't until that point. It wasn't until the point that I scared him to death and let him know that I wasn't gonna take it anymore.
I was just so scared. I was gonna tell him. Okay, so why are we constantly like... Okay, here's the problem with this film that I have right now. It's only targeting men for viewing porno. There's no concept of women enjoying pornography at all. There's only the concept of the wife who knows the husband is looking at pornography and she's just like, I can't take it anymore. You're ruining our marriage. Like, but what about, is there any concept of women enjoying pornography in this? I'm not seeing it yet, and that's where I'm concerned.
That he let me know that he was addicted to pornography, and he said, I am addicted to pornography and I need help.
I need help.
He screamed that at me. It took that to get it out.
He screamed it to the
You
top
may
of his
rationalize
lungs,
that
my
pornography
Jesus
is
Lord.
harmless and that there are no long-term effects. You begin to live a lie, a double life, hiding what you are doing.
Okay.
But in the end,
Okay, the only reason they feel that they're living a lie, that they're living a double life, that they have to hide what they're doing, is because there's no conceptualization within the Mormon Church for its members to have a casual life with pornography, with sexuality and sex. That's why they feel the need to hide it, because they've already said it's a sin. It's a sin. Don't do it. Don't partake of it. So anybody who's even remotely curious about it, they are teaching you, like through films like these, like if you're remotely curious, then you're already fucking addicted and you have a problem and you need to confess to your wife and all this stuff. And it's like, no. What you've done is you've made an environment in which people can't explore sexuality whatsoever, so that when they do it just the littlest bit, you automatically instill that level of guilt into them. So I don't like that. The reason they're feeling that they need to live this double life is because the life they live as a Mormon has no conceptualization of healthy sexuality in it whatsoever. It just doesn't. It can cry and scream, but we do have a healthy conceptualization for sexuality. That we have it through, you can only have sex if you get married in the temple, blah, 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 blah. And it's all bull crap. It's all just, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's all based on morality. Morality is not objective. Morality is subjective. Morality is, only based on it. Morality is in the eye of the beholder, okay? So refraining from a lot of sexual activities for some people might be good for them, okay? It works for them. That's the life they need. And for others, they might need to dabble a little just so they can blow off some steam, if you know what I mean.
it can take from you something wonderful and sacred. Pornography can be as harmful and addictive as drugs or alcohol. If the producers of pornography were forced to put warning labels on their products, what would they say? With pornography, the effect is gradual, but over time, and with continued exposure, there are consequences.
I was excommunicated from the church. I almost lost my
Well, no shit.
wife.
The biggest hurt for me is I've lost my family. I lost,
I love how they throw that in there immediately. Somebody who's like, I got excommunicated from the church. I highly doubt the church got somebody who was excommunicated to come forward and talk about their porno addiction as why they got excommunicated. Like, I highly doubt that. Like, that's just the fear-mongering that the church is doing. Can you imagine this person losing their whole lives? And even worse, the most worst thing of all is getting excommunicated from the church. The noive.
the opportunity to live with my wife at the time and my son, to be a father to my son, to live in his home and to influence his life.
I had to sit on the outside of the temple as our beautiful daughter was married for time and all eternity. That day is etched in my mind forever as a consequence of my choices.
Oh no. Do not get me started on this. Okay, so in order to be temple worthy, you literally have to sit down with a church leader and they ask you a series of questions like, do you smoke? Do you do drugs? Do you watch pornography? Do you masturbate? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do any of these sinful things? And you're sitting there with this perfect stranger telling him very deep personal things about yourself. And if you don't go through that process, if you don't comply with that, then you cannot get into the temple and do the temple work within the Mormon church that exalts you into the same position as God. One of which is getting married in the temple. If you are not worthy of getting married in the temple, then you won't get married in the temple. If you are, that's fine. If your parents, aren't worthy, and here's where Mormons, where they think they're about family, actually break families up. If you're not temple worthy, you cannot see your child get married within the temple, which is like the most pristine, like egregious thing in Mormonism. Like, that's one of the most precious things you can even experience, and especially if your child gets married within the Mormon temple. So if you've done one thing wrong, and you do not pass your temple recommend interview and get your temple recommend from your church leader, then you're screwed. Then you lose out on one of the big moments in your family's life. They break families up. They break families up by doing that. And this same thing happens when children in the Mormon church get married and their parents are gay. Their gay parents can't go in there. They can't do anything. So they have to just schlump around with their hands in their pockets, moseying about, like, on the outside of the temple, like, well, this is the consequence of me being sinful. I can't be a part of my children's lives. I can't be a part of my family's lives because I'm not good enough. You see how they break up families there? I hate that. I hate that thing that they do the most. Like, it's so awful.
Friends were going to chat rooms. I just thought I'd try it once and see what everyone
I always watch TV before I go to sleep, and then one night I started channel surfing and found this program that
I was checking my email and I saw this thing name that I didn't recognize, so I opened it up.
Everyone does it. I mean, what's the big deal? It's not like I was smoking or drinking or anything.
I was curious. Anyway, it's not like I'm ever gonna do it again. It was just that one time.
I started making excuses to be alone.
Stop it. All these
To be
kids
home
are
when no one else
actors.
is around.
My mom and dad thought that they were trying to be good parents by not invading my privacy, but now I wish
I felt guilt.
My parents thought that they were being good by not invading my privacy, but now I wish they would have invaded and destroyed my privacy. It would have been better in the long run. Bullshit. Oh, that's so awful. Can you imagine that enabling so many parents to be like, yes, I should just invade my child's privacy. They have no sense of privacy at all. Not under my roof. They are completely unsafe. They have no way of managing their privacy time, so I must manage it for them.
First I stopped praying, and then I started making up reasons to not go to church.
I can't talk to anyone about it. You just don't talk about things like this. Everyone knows that.
I was on my way to purchase
Actor.
pornography, and my 5-year-old son was telling me, or asking me at that time, "Where are you going, Dad? You know, where are you going?" He came out into the driveway, and I remember getting in my car and driving away and looking in my rearview mirror, and
oh Lord,
he was standing there, you know,
oh
just
Lord.
looking down the road at me.
No, he wasn't.
And,
this
his
is fake.
question of, you know, where are you going, Dad? You know,
Where are you
just,
going,
hit me very
Daddy?
hard. And
I'm sorry, son. I saw too many of the boobies on the YouTubies. I gotta leave now, son. I'm sorry. I gotta leave you and traumatize you for life. I gotta leave, even though you don't understand this. I gotta leave right now and traumatize you for life, even though all I just saw was some boobies on the YouTubies. Thank you. Hey, MC Heavyset.
But even at that point, it just didn't matter to me. It didn't matter who I hurt. I was so out of control. I was so unable to stop myself from the addiction of getting more and more and more that it took the act of me getting incarcerated and committing a crime.
Wait a minute. For what? What did he commit a crime for? Looking at porno? Yanking his yak? Spanking his monkey? Choking his chicken? Are you serious? He goes to jail? For what?
For me to be able to wake up to see what I was doing.
No, they did not just say that man went to jail and got incarcerated. For what? Like, really? For porno? For what? This is not helping. This is not helping people.
In the beginning, some may think that they have the power to stop. I can quit anytime. I'm in control.
I can
But
stop it.
appetite increases.
I can stop this.
Excuses are made,
anytime.
and a false set of values is accepted. One begins to isolate oneself from others, finding opportunities to be alone, and rationalizing that it's not a big deal at all. And the cycle starts.
Rationalizing that it's not a big deal at all. It really isn't a big deal at all, unless you're in an environment where everybody around you thinks it's a big deal.
Starts again. It is a perceived exercise of freedom that can ultimately enslave. Pornography is worse than filthy, polluted food. The body.
What? It's better to be fat as fuck. Like, it's better to be super obese to the point where you're dying than it is to watch pornography. If you're watching pornography and you're staying thin, no. That's worse.
The body has defenses to rid itself of unwholesome food, but the brain won't vomit filth back.
I felt like it was more powerful than.
Why did you go to jail?
Cocaine. And alcohol, which.
Okay. If you've had cocaine and alcohol, you know, I guess maybe for some people in the world, like, an addiction to pornography is way worse than anything else. But because this is coming from the church, I'm like, you've never drank alcohol or done cocaine. How do you fucking know?
At times, I felt like I used to enhance my experience with pornography.
With pornography, it's better to avoid than to resist, to never start. It is more powerful than you think. Pornography becomes a habit that is difficult to break. One's view of what is beautiful and pure is eventually tarnished. Numbness sets in as one no longer values others as the unique people that they are, but rather sees them as mere objects of lust.
You think it's just about you, and you don't see any other consequences. It doesn't affect my parents. It doesn't affect anything else. It's just a lie that's told that it's, some people say, oh, it's a victimless thing.
When I found out
What?
about his addiction, I was completely devastated. broke down every hope that I had for my future, my marriage, my family, and destroyed my...
I'm definitely somebody who dabbles in porno, okay? But I can't... And here's the thing. I want to distinguish the line between people who genuinely have a problem with porno and the religious idea of what a problem with pornography is. The religious idea of what a problem with pornography is really dumb. Straight up dumb. Actual people, suffer a lot. But to say that everybody, no matter what, if you even blink at pornography, you're going to get hooked and it's going to ruin your life. And you're going to get incarcerated. You're going to go to jail. You're going to, this is too much.
Confidence.
It was like a kick in the stomach. It was hard to breathe. It was just, I couldn't believe that he would do something to hurt me so much. My best friend, the love of my life, and how could he hurt me? How could he do that to me?
What do you mean?
The emotions and urges of sexuality are given to all of us, both male and female. These sacred and special feelings are meant to be used.
Do you hear that? Do you hear them describe feeling horny as sacred and special? As these are sacred and special feelings only reserved for a certain set of circumstances. And they wonder why their members become obsessed with sex.
Used in the ongoing physical relationship between husband and wife.
Only between husband and wife.
Exposure to pornography, this sacred nature is destroyed. Pornography can eat away and consume the sexual feelings that were intended to be experienced with a loved one. In the end, it will leave in its wake nothing but heartache and regret. Pornography may be sold under the guise that it can heighten arousal and enhance relationships. But the devastating effect that pornography has on relationships is an indisputable fact. As one expert stated, pornography creates unreal expectations. It is a fraudulent...
Okay, so here's where I actually do agree with them. I think where pornography can be really damaging, and there's another YouTuber that shares the same idea, and I'm like, yes, I agree with this. So here's the thing. I agree with the idea that pornography, when very young people, like children, young people, teenagers, stuff like that, are exposed to pornography too soon before they're really ready to digest and conceptualize sexuality within their lives, I think it can be damaging in the sense that pornography creates a lot of unrealistic expectations of what sex and intimacy and love is. So that's where I feel like pornography should really be something that only matured adults enjoy. And I really do think it should be something that underage people, children, teenagers, they should really just kind of focus on being kids and stuff like that. And obviously there's something about being a young person, a teenager. You're still going to have sexuality a part of your life, but there's definitely a more healthy way to explore that as a young person than just deep diving balls deep into pornography. That's where it can fuck with your head a little bit. So that's where I'm I agree with that little sentiment there.
Message about human sexuality and intimacy. Pornography has even been proven to deaden the normal male sexual response in relation to real women and natural relationships.
Well, I mean, if you're watching pornography of doing things that you would rather do instead of being with your boring ass wife, I'm not I know that sounds fucked up, but I mean, come on now.
So addicted to
Philip says it can lead to debasement too when someone experienced in sexuality is exposed to rough pornography. Oh, if somebody... Oh, wait, no, sorry. When someone inexperienced in sexuality is exposed to rough pornography, it can give a false expectation of what actual sex should be like. Yes, exactly. I think young people should explore their sexuality a bit more free of societal expectations of what sexuality should be, and even so much as to explore it free from the idea of deep diving into pornography so much that, you know, it's a huge part of your life. Like, I think young people should be free to explore their sexuality in a more safe way.
Looking at pornography and the images of pornography that my wife was boring to me sexually.
Pornography destroys...
Okay, my wife is boring to me. I'm sorry. Pornography doesn't make your wife boring. That's not what's happening. You're boring, and you're not bringing the zest to your wife. Okay? Come on. My wife is boring to me. No, she's not. You're boring. You're the boring one. And you're not doing shit to make things zesty, to make things spicy, to make things lovely and nice for your wife. Like, I'm sorry. Like, my wife is boring to me. No, you're boring, motherfucker.
Faith in God and self-worth.
Like, get in there.
It makes a person feel unworthy and full of guilt and shame, doubt and despair. What usually begins with simple curiosity and experimentation can eventually lead to dependence, addiction, and hopelessness.
Pretty sure your wife is totally up for all the spicy stuff. You just have to, like, bring it. Okay? Come on. Like, you can't just stick your stick into a woman and be like, this is my magic wand from God, and when I insert it to you, it's a magical wand of just pleasure, and you just are pleasured. Like, you, like, bring some fucking game to the fucking, like, bed, man. Come on. My wife is boring. Nah, bitch, you're boring.
You are hereby called to serve as the...
Pornography destroys our view of human beauty and uniqueness. It attacks the very soul.
If you are caught up in pornography,
my soul!
Go talk to somebody about it. Talk to your parents about it. It's okay. Don't feel guilty that you've run into it. There's so much help out there, and there's so much hope, and it can be overcome. You are not a lost cause.
So the day's here. Yeah, what do you think?
Yes, you are. If you watch porno, you will die. Anyways. Cassie says, this whole thing is giving me strong Dare vibes. Yes, it is. If you mix the fact and fiction and say everything is bad, drugs, sex, etc., then young people will experiment with stuff they'll assume. Yeah, no, okay. So, like, when you tell, like, young people, don't do this, don't do it, it's pleasurable, it's lovely, it's nice, but don't do it, they're gonna do it. And I can't remember who made this statement. It was a philosopher. I don't know if it was, like, Alan Watts or something, but somebody said something along the lines of, like, thank your parents for making sex interesting, because if they didn't tell you not to do it, then it wouldn't be pleasurable enough to explore. And in the same sense, if you teeter everything to the other side, if we lived in a human race and society where sex was just, like, constant and all open and all this stuff, you're going to get people who are coming out as more conservative, as more reserved. Philip says, or it could be that he wants an unrealistic sexual experience based on his porn addictions, and his wife simply wants love making rather than animalistic engagement. Yeah, that's, and here's the problem within the Mormon church that kind of sets couples up for this failure. The Mormon church tells its members that it doesn't matter what kind of personality you have, if it works or is compatible with your partner or not. Any two Mormon members can make a marriage work. That's what they feed to people. Any two righteous members can make a Mormon marriage work. And what that does is it sets couples up for failure by pairing them into relationships that wouldn't really work for them. So let's say you have a woman in the relationship and she wants more gentle sort of sexual interaction, very soft. And she's paired up with a man who's like, he wants to do some really kinky things, That's setting them up for failure, because it's like, well, you're sealed and you're married within the temple. First of all, that's a very big deal. You can't exactly break that off. But any two members of the church can make a relationship work, so you guys should be able to work it out. It does not leave any room for couples to explore sexuality to see if they're compatible in the long run. And that's sad.
Wow, I'm excited. It's kind of nervous, but I'm really excited
for it.
I'm writing this letter on the morning I leave for my mission. About a year ago, I started to wonder if a mission was even in my future. At that time, I was involved in pornography. I really didn't think it was a serious problem, or that it would even question my ability to serve a mission.
How you feeling?
I kept telling myself that I would stop it for good. I had tried that a number of times over the past few years, but something would always happen, and I would always find myself falling back into it. One day, my parents confronted me. I felt guilty and embarrassed, and I wanted to just continue hiding it. Then my parents went with me to see the bishop.
Hi, Joanna.
He
Thank
told
you
me
for
straight
coming.
away that I needed to change my behavior now if I hoped to be ready for a mission in a year.
Oh, no.
It was a long process, and I took it one day at a time. But today, as I put on my white shirt, tie, and the missionary name tag, I look into the mirror and I see a completely different person than who I saw there a year ago. I can look myself straight in the eye, as well as my parents, my priesthood leaders, and the Savior himself. Today is a great day. I'm ready to walk forward to serve as a missionary. I can bear personal testimony of the power of the atonement to save others, as I myself have been saved. I am ready and worthy to serve.
The decision is ultimately yours. It's your choice. No one can make it for you. Parents can help you, talk to you, but they cannot completely protect.
Nobody can make your decision to watch porn or not for you, but we're going to create an environment in which ultimately says you shouldn't. But by all means, you have a choice.
You. Leaders can warn you, but they cannot always guard you. Teachers may inform you, but they cannot insulate you.
Hey, Katrina.
It's your choice. So-called friends may pressure and tempt you and say there is no harm, but they cannot force you. The internet may be at your fingertips, but they are still your fingers. It's your choice. You may think you are exercising your freedom.
I'm sorry. Never in my entire life have I had friends of mine who were like, hey, you should watch porno. Like, is it just me? Like, if any of my friends were like, you should watch this porno, I'd be like, you're weird. Thank you and goodbye. If I want to watch porno, I will do it on my own accord.
But in the end, you will have to endure the consequences. If you are confronted,
consequences!
you can run. If you are exposed, turn it off. It's your choice. It is no longer possible to be passive. This is an issue that can't be ignored. You must decide who you are, what you will do, and who you will be. In the end, no one else can take responsibility or credit but you. It's your choice. To avoid the habit of viewing pornography, the solution includes not being alone and involving others in your life. Protection lies in good friends and mentors with high standards who encourage and respect you. It is a decision of personal identity, conviction, and faith in a Heavenly Father who knows and loves you.
Oh, Lord.
If you are in trouble with pornography
Lord!
or other sexual behaviors, there is hope. Hope and forgiveness are found in the Savior Jesus Christ. That is real. That is true.
Porno is scary. It's gonna ruin your life. You know what's not gonna ruin your life? Our weird-ass religion. Join our religion today for 3 easy payments of $10.99.
Talk to your parents. They want to help you. Wisdom is found in good parents who love you and want what is best for you. That is real. That is true. You can feel peace again and enjoy genuine, loving relationships. That is real. Strength comes from personal testimony. That is true. The power to break the pull of this addiction is found in God. He can help you change, really change. You do have a Father in heaven who loves you and desires your happiness.
No, he doesn't.
The atonement is for everyone, and it's not just because I'm a sinner myself in life and that no one's sin-free, but because I am a victim of someone else's sins who really affected my life and made my life really...
Wow. What the weird mental fuckery. So your exploration of sexuality is a sin, and that was given to you by somebody else. It's not your idea. You have no control over your own thoughts, and therefore your only salvation is to dedicate all of your thoughts to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Really hard.
That's messed up. Messed up.
I have to turn to him and know that he gives me healing power through the atonement, that I can lean on the atonement and heal because of him.
I had to turn my life over to God and turn my addiction over to God so that he could help heal me.
I love my...
Okay, in all this talk about addiction, why is this church not talking about the addiction to church? There is serious thing such as addiction to church, addiction to the Lord, addiction to the scripture, addiction to the way. Nobody talks about that. What if that destroys families? What if your dedication to your religion destroys your relationship with your family? Is the religion going to justify that as good? Very interesting. Again, where religion tries to destroy your relationships and the concept of family while simultaneously trying to promote the concept of family.
Husband, and he is worth...
Oh, shut
He's
up.
worth being married to, and he is a good husband to me.
Oh,
and he's good to my children. He is a wonderful father. With the power
Shut
of
up.
the atonement and with repentance. He is a wonderful priesthood holder.
I know I'm worth something, and I know I'm really important to my son. He's just really little, and he needs me. And I know that I'm important to her because she's still with me. And I know she loves me, and I love her. And so I feel like I have a lot of value now in my life.
And if men come unto me, I will show unto them their weakness. I give unto men weakness, that they may be humble, and my grace is sufficient for all men that humble themselves before me. I think Jesus has a fetish for people being subservient to him, okay? Jesus is a dom, and he wants us all to be subs, okay? Okay, look, people. Look, pornography in itself is not bad. Under certain circumstances and for certain people, it can be a deterrent from keeping you from achieving your true potential, your actualized self. But to paint porno as an automatic, like, if you even peek at it, you are fucked. That creates the environment where people are going to want to look into that. And if you try to teach them that if they do that, and they're toast forever, you know, they have a problem, they have an addiction, automatically, you're going to have a very unhappy membership. I don't like the religious outtake and look into pornography. I think, especially from my experience in the Mormon church, it makes you more obsessed with sex than it would otherwise, because it says should only be done under certain circumstances. Very, very certain circumstances, such as only between a cis man and a cis woman, and only if they've been married within the Mormon temple. That's the only time that sex is okay. And they make that a big deal. They're saying that's the ultimate step, the final step into gaining access to the ultimate highest kingdom of God, where you're exalted beside him. If you do not get married within the temple like that, it's going to be very questionable for you if in the afterlife you actually make it to any sort of high level or not. Mormonism is very weird in the sense that they have different levels of heaven. So it's like you either are perfect and you're exalted with God, or you're kind of below here. And yeah, that's heaven. You know, you're kind of good, but really what you should do is be up here. And one of the steps to get there is to only have sex if you're married and if you've been wedded within the temple. And you have passed the sort of interview where it's discussed what your sins are. Okay, what have you done sinfully? And if you're pure, I mean, you're gold. And if you're not, well, it's going to be a struggle for you. Anyways, I'm so happy that all of you joined me tonight. I really appreciate all of your company. I love Friday night chats. And again, please like the video and share the video and super chat, whatever. Everything helps. Everything helps. It helps me continue to do my work. So, good to see everybody. Okay, let's pull our music back up. And end our poll. Okay. So, is porno good? 14% of you said no. 23% of you said yes. And 61% said in some cases. And I think that's the takeaway I want everybody to have. It's really dependent. Like, for example, some people have an addiction to overeating food, but we have to eat food, you know. Some people have an over addiction to sex, pornography, but we as humans need to have sex, you know, to procreate, things like that. So in some cases, it's bad. In some cases, it's perfectly fine. It's just fine. Like I said, like, I dabble in pornography. I like viewing it, you know, I do my thing, and it doesn't consume me. It's just kind of like having a cup of tea. Anyways. Good to see everybody. Philip, will you please drop a link to the Hyperion source? Philip and Susan just released a video. I have yet to see it. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow, actually. And then I believe tomorrow the Hyperion source is going live. And thank you so much, Cassie, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate that. Wave and say hello. Thank you so much for keeping our chat room safe. Anyways, good night, everybody. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Stay reasonable. And leave the trolls alone. Okay? Thank you. Alright. Good night, everybody. Mwah.